Hello, hello, everyone. I done been bit by the bug, huh? What's that? I've been bit by the bug. Bit by the Ike Turner bug. I got the blues. Shout out to What's Love Got to Do with Its Hands. Anyway, y'all, I am taking a quick stroll. Like, I don't know. I need to look up my zodiac sign and see what's going on in it, in this little realm or something, because things are just like, I don't even know how to describe them. I've been needing so much more breathers than lately. Is it because I'm getting old? My birthday is on May 29th, and I will be 33 years old, so I'm excited. 3 is a good number. 3, number of completions. Actually, 7 is a number of completion, but sometimes 3. What's good about 3? 3 strikes you're out. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So double 3s. I don't know. But man, I've been needing so much more breathers lately, like stress-wise. So I'm at work. I said I wasn't staying overtime yesterday. Remember when I was at the beach, I said that, but I ended up staying. But that's actually because I had to go somewhere at 7:30, and at first I was gonna go pick someone up, but they said they weren't coming. So I was like, well, I might as well just stay at work and get paid or whatever. So I still stay, but today I'm not staying. So anyway, I came on here to tell you guys about my review. Well, first let me tell you guys about the rest of my night last night. So after the beach, I went back to work, finished what I had to do, stayed to overtime. I went to Bible study for a little bit. It was really good. It's so funny because I was asking questions, and usually people don't like to ask questions, especially questions that are contradicting. And I actually don't either, because I don't like to be the one to be making it seem like, oh, I'm asking because I'm doing it. But we had an interesting talk about what's the difference between a medical marijuana patient and a mental patient. Because I don't know, somebody had said some weed is a sin. And I know people who do drugs, they, try to justify it anyway. Like, oh, it's from the earth, da 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 da. And hey, I really don't. To be honest, I personally don't necessarily feel it is, but whatever. Everybody had their own belief of what it is. So that was the question I posed to the audience. Like, okay, so how is the homie smoking a blunt different from a person who, not the homie smoking a blunt, I take that back, because we were talking about prescriptions. And like, now that medical marijuana is legal in California, y'all, first of all, there's an ordinance on how many stores they are supposed to be in a vicinity. Like, I'm gonna make up the numbers, but just to give you an example, like in a 1 square mile radius, there can only be like 3 shops. But y'all, it's like 50 shops in every block. Like, literally from the one main street to the next main street, a mile on my street, there are at least 4 shops, So we were talking about, I had posed a question like, how is a cancer patient smoking medical marijuana any different than like a mental patient who need to take his meds so he could stay chill? The conversation was long, so I ain't gonna go there, but that was an interesting conversation. But at first I was like, man, I don't want them to think I'm the medical marijuana patient, nor do I want them to think that I'm the mental patient who off their meds. So I was like, hopefully me answering the question, they don't think it's me. But that was interesting. Long story short, it came up to the answer being, it's more so about abuse. When you take something for pleasure more so than because you need it to do what it was prescribed to do. That was like the overall answer. But anyway, so I went to church, and then I went home. My husband has a special project at work, so he's working 12-hour days. So I haven't been seeing him as much the last couple of days. So we got our little hugs and cuddles in. And then it was the full moon, you guys. So I did my full moon ritual. I don't know, I may have mentioned to you guys, I've been real into metaphysics lately. And metaphysics is a big word. It can mean so many different avenues for so many different things. So I guess maybe the section of metaphysics that I'm into has been crystal healing, just chakras, more so just crystal healing. And it's really, for me, it was just all about finding a peace within myself. I didn't grow up in a church. So around 2006, I was on my own. I probably told y'all this story. I graduated from college. I had my own apartment, my own car, my own job, and everything was going cool. But I just felt like something was missing in my life. So I started going to church. So I went to a different church every weekend until I found one I liked, and it's the one I'm at now. Even though at that point we was at a different building, and I was there for like 4 years, and then we moved to this place. So same pastor, which is also the same pastor that baptized me, the same pastor that married me. So technically I've been under him for 11 years. Oh wow. But we're at this new location for 7 years. So even though we moved buildings, same pastor for 11 years. So that was that. And I've been riding on that Christianity train all this time, and it's been great and wonderful, you know. But last year something was still kind of feeling off, or I felt like I was missing something, or I was just seeking this deeper thing. And I haven't told y'all, but I have psoriasis, and psoriasis is an autoimmune deficiency, and for some people it's, you know, different. It affects their skin mostly, but sometimes it affects your joints and your body. So sometimes my body have aches and pains, and I didn't grow up with this, or I guess it was always in me, but it was dormant for like 20 something years, and then I just had a flare up. I don't know, they don't know. I tried to figure out if it was from something that I was using, or if it was, they kind of chalked it up to stress, because I tore my little, and at that point I only had a studio apartment, y'all. I could lay in the bed, fry bacon, and I don't know what, take a shit all at the same time, if you will. Probably. So I went through that whole apartment to see what I was using that I wasn't using. Did I change detergent? None of that happened. So the only thing is either two things. Either I was stressed, or either I had turned 21 and I started drinking more regularly. So it's either from the liquor or from the stress. And I tried to not be stressed, but I still had an outbreak. I have no idea how I ended up on this tangent. Oh, because, you know, I was saying, so last year I was starting to feel a little bit stressed, and I already had my psoriasis kind of under control, so I didn't want it to like go crazy again, and it was kind of starting to go crazy again. So and I guess I can just share a little bit of it with you. I usually don't do this, so y'all catching me in rare form, but I don't know if you can see my hand, but the inside of my hands are darker. You know how you be dark skinned and lighter, but the insides of my hands are brown, pretty much just like, so sometimes it like peels, and it's kind of like, I'm grown, so I'll be like, whatever. But, you know, sometimes it gets on your body. Luckily, currently mine is only on your hands and feet. It's called palmoplantar pustulosis. Now, the good thing is, hey, you can hide your hands and your feet, but the bad thing is those are the most difficult areas to treat for psoriasis. So, you know, I get the good and the bad. So at least I could still, well, I'm kind of too fat to walk around with a bathing suit on, but technically I could still walk around with a bathing suit on and still be hot if I wasn't too chunky. Well, I guess in my head, you know, I know chunkier people who still walk around in bathing suits. So for me, well, right now, because there was a time where it was on my skin, but I had got that under control, and it just stayed in my hands and feet, and those are my problem areas. So anyway, last year while I was kind of getting stressed, I was like, well, my psoriasis is kind of breaking out a little bit, so I don't want it to break out even more. So I need to kind of calm down and breathe. And, you know, I fasted, I prayed, and just kept it all, you know, together. But I was like, okay, I need a little bit more. And then I had came across like just yoga, meditation, and crystal healing. And at first I was a little skeptical, because y'all know when you grow up in Super Saintville, even though I didn't grow up in Super Saintville, I joined Super Saintville when I was in my 20s. But the good thing about not growing up in Super Saintville, I'm able to look at stuff and see like, no, y'all being extra, right? So at first I was a little hesitant to get into metaphysics, because sometimes people think it's witchy. Some people, and it is, you know, some witches perform under the guise of metaphysics. Not the guise, but, you know, some witches do consider their practices metaphysical. And I do too, actually. I just don't go all the way left as far as casting spells and things of that nature. But I do believe crystals are from the ground. And I use the natural crystals that are from the ground. I don't use man-made manufactured crystals. So crystals have these energies, and these properties. And first of all, it's natural, it's from the earth. God made the heavens and the earth and everything in it. So if it's something that comes from the ground, for me, it is something of the Lord. So I've got these crystals, I hold them, I wear them around my neck. I play with them in my hands and just get that positive energy off of them. So that's actually how I got started. And then just aside from the crystals, I started learning about the chakras, which are the center points in your body, energy points in your body. There's 7 main chakras, pretty much from your spine all the way up. Like you have heart chakra, third chakra, third eye chakra, chakras up here. So I started learning about those, and I actually did like maybe about 3 weeks worth, longer than 3 weeks. I had looked into it last year, but like I said, at first I was like, man, this is starting to get a little sketchy. I don't want it to contradict with my Christianity, so I'm gonna fall back. But then I ended up talking to one of my sorority sisters about it, and she actually told me she was into it, and she actually said her doctor prescribed it to her because she has an issue, and she wasn't kind of getting healed from it. So her doctor kind of put that idea out. And I was like, oh, that's funny that you said that, because I was actually looking to it last year and I didn't get a chance to. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna finally go back and visit it. So I prayed about it, meditated about it, and I kind of got the confirmation that I need to move forth in that area, just being very mindful of what I open myself up to. So yeah, so the beginning of January, I researched it a lot, and just decided what realms of it I am going to participate in. I mean, just like Christianity, there's some Christians who go way left, and I mean, I don't want to call anybody's religion going way left, because I respect anybody's belief, to not believe, to interbelieve, so I'll take back that way left comment. But I just didn't want to get into anything that was going to pull me away from what I ultimately believe. So so I just did my research and read and kind of decided what parts of astronomy I was going to be into, what parts of astrology I was going to be into, what parts of metaphysics and crystal healing I was going to be into. So I kind of got my zhuzh together, if you will. And so, so for the past 5 months, that's been something I've been doing. And then with the crystals, one of the things that you do is you charge them in the full moon. So every full moon, I kind of go outside, I kind of burn my sage, kind of just do some breathing and relaxing and, just charging. So coincidentally, last night was the full moon, so I did my crystal thing. And today was my 10-year review at my job, and it kind of worked out because it's like I got recharged before I stepped into today, which today was going to ultimately lead to what's going to happen with the next part of my career. So my company is small. It's about 90 people. When I start, no, actually it's like 110, 115. When I started, I was like number 70 something. So I have seen it grow. So we have grown, we have excelled, we have, if I'm not mistaken, doubled or even tripled our annual profits, and tripled in clients. We actually bought another building. So it's grown. But considering I'm 32 years old, I have a master's degree, and now I have, 10 years of experience here, but I worked like not hella jobs, but at least another 5 years before that at different places. So although we're growing, it's not kind of growing at a space that may include me anymore. So I had the 10-year review today, and it was average. I would say it was maybe 60 or 70% positive, and that's kind of a low number when you think about your life, because you want to operate at your life at 100% or at least 90, or worst case scenario 85. So the review kind of so last night I kind of did that, kind of got my bearings together while I was sitting under the full moon on the front porch. And the funny thing is, I usually do it on my actual porch, but on my actual porch I couldn't see the moon. But hey, as long as I know it's out there, I still do my stuff on my porch. But last night I was like, no, I need to be direct under it, because It's like I'm my 10-year review. I'm turning 33. You know, I just had my 7th year marriage anniversary, which is, you know, the number, speaking of number of completion, which is a great number. You know, my mom just got out of surgery. You know, my dad is having some things going on in his life. Well, it seems from the outside looking in. So I'm just kind of want to push my life a whole level up. You know, I lost the 30 pounds, you know, from 2015 to today. So even though this last 6 months I've been like kind of stagnant with the working out and weight loss or whatever, overall, that's still a pretty big jump from, you know, just being in the house eating chicken all day to now having a life where I go to work, I work out, I done met some friends, I have workout homies, I be going to Runyon Canyon now. Child, 2-3 years ago, you couldn't get me to go to nobody's mountain, okay? Let alone run and walk backwards and do all that stuff. So, you know, things have shifted for me physically. They shifted for me spiritually since I, you know, elevated my Christianity and also added the addition of metaphysics. So I just kind of feel like this realm, a whole lot of things were going to change. And that could have even been the YouTube stuff too. Like, I feel like I had all these changes going on and YouTube was essentially something new for me. So I was like, let me fix my core things, my things that will always be a part of my life before I 100% solidly decide what to do with that. And also career-wise, that was since I was just debating on what to do with the career. You know, YouTube wasn't a part of that or an option for that, but I still had all these core things that I wanted to do. So I kind of have been focusing on all of that. And I say all that just to say that last night's little ritual was pretty cool and serene. Speaking of last night rituals, let me show you a little bit of it here. Okay, so aside from that, yeah, today was cool. Like I said, the review was like a 60-70% or whatever. Actually, let me walk back because it's pretty much time for me to go back. So that was that, but I still had a whole bunch of things on my plate to do. But number one, I'm hungry, and then I was like, I need a break. I need to go outside. I need to breathe. Maybe I need to talk on the camera or something. So I came to take a quick break, and that's what I'm doing now. So I just came to update you guys on my life and show you guys a little bit of my physical things. Just in case, number one, you are interested in getting yourself. We all have our own ailments, and I know some of us have stress, some of us have ailments, and hey, what I may be doing may prompt you to look into it, and it may be helpful, to be honest. Now that I have been working on my chakras, I feel lighter. Like I said, I do take these breathers more overall, but just overall, I also feel like since I have been working on my chakras, I'm more in tune with my body. Like, I know that has something to do with losing weight, but y'all, this little area right here, I never even knew that could move. Like, so just being more aware of energy points on my body, and of course losing some of the fat, you notice some bones and muscles you probably ain't seen in a few years, but it feels good, you know. My relationships, I'm a little bit more firm in my relationships with people and what they mean to me, and what I can deal with and what I can. Not that I really didn't know that before, but I'm a little bit more solid in it. So I think that's a combination of being older and also the metaphysics. So those are some positive things that happened. And, even though I have a little bit of psoriasis on my hands now, like that's nothing compared to when it first started or my most extreme outbreak. So I do feel like overall there's a calming to it. So if it can help you, then hey, I will be glad to share. But I know people like attack people believe in stuff, and I hate people who do stuff like that. So I usually don't just be all broadcasting it like, hey y'all, guess what I do, or da 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 da. But my friend mentioning it to me helped me go back down that path. So hey, maybe me simply mention it may be beneficial to someone. But yeah, so my review went okay, you guys. If y'all got some suggestions on what I should do with my life, I listen. I was gonna be a stripper because they just seem to be popping right now, but the way the bottom gut is set up is still not ready for that life. So I need to find another career that won't require me to wake up earlier than 8 a.m. and that won't require me to be fake. I don't want to have a job where I have to be like, hi, like 9 hours a day, because that's so not me, But anyway, I'm gonna go back to work. I just needed to take a quick breather, and a quick breather ended up being 20 minutes. So let me go back and do maybe about 20 minutes of work, since I did 20 minutes of talking. And I will see you guys soon. So that's pretty much it. Today is Thursday. I think Scandal comes on, so maybe I'll talk and watch about that, because I heard that next season is the last season. Scandal was one of my original shows. My 2 original shows was The Haves and Have-Nots and Scandal. So if I ever do anything, it'll probably be in regards to those 2. So yeah, guys, I just want to jump on. You guys help me release straight into my life. So hopefully I can help. I watch some of the videos like, oh, they feel like me, or they think like me, or they're into the things that I'm in, So hey, there's that, guys. So anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. You guys can still check me out on Twitter, even though I will have to do it from the computer, since my 7-year-old boyfriend erased my Twitter.